Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another video. Apologies for the zoom on my face. Most of this video will not be on my face, thank goodness. But I've been buying some more, I won't say dubious tech, but I suppose that's what probably the series should be called. Dubious tech on Amazon for cheap. We can talk about cheapness, I guess, as a theme. But you know, I did with, like previously with the mechanical keyboard, I took a punt on some more obscure branded stuff from Amazon that is, you know, in the price range where it could be good, but obviously, you know, it's not like the cheapest, but not the most expensive, but something you haven't heard of and something I haven't heard of before that has, you know, features that maybe sort of mainstream or not a lot of mainstream products have. So if you've read the title, today we're talking about the basically a controller that you can use for, I don't know, I've got the product page up, but Switch, PC, I'm trying to see if it says anything. It will say in there. Anyway, there we go. So, got a fancy new setup, hence why I thought this would be a good opportunity to try it out. So, the reason it's packaged up is so I can unbox it for you. There's nothing in that box, but this box, outer box, is quite nice. It does also have has their logo. I need to get better at doing this. So, inside the box, what do you get? Well, I would have thought that would be fairly straightforward. You get one of these first things that is quite nice, and actually, something I'll talk about at the end, is a Type-C controller. It's not a non-braided cable, just normal cable, and there you get a user manual, game controller. I don't think there's, I don't know, maybe there's some funny English in here. Let's have a look. Italian, Spanish, German. Oh, English is in here. Turn on Nintendo Switch console. Nah, it's all fine. Actually, the English is pretty good. Yeah, no, that's fine. No, it's quite good. Tells you how to connect it up to your Switch and computer. Actually, the Switch thing is quite important, because if you've never hooked up a third-party controller to the Switch, then sometimes it's nice to have that extra information. Not necessarily for me, but just in terms of people who may not have done that before. So the good thing, or the thing I was looking for when I bought this, was the transmitter. So it's 2.4 gigahertz transmitter. It has a very annoying LED on the back which blinks if it's not connected and stays lit if it is. Yeah, it depends where your socket is orientated, but it is quite big, and yeah, that's the other thing, it is quite big as well. And then we get onto the actual controller itself. So it's got all the good stuff for the Switch, as in it's got the lights here to determine what player you are, which is nice. I think that's about it actually for the Switch. It's got the Switch home button as well, a Switch styled home button, but obviously all the major controllers have home buttons. You've got these 4 switches at the back, which basically just take over the A, B, X and Y functions. You have a turbo, actually I'm just going to turn it on so we can see it a little bit better. So it's obviously not going to be able to connect, but it has got lights on the buttons, which I actually really like. I think that that's probably the best feature of it, the way the buttons look. You've got a mode button, that's for switching between, you know, Switch, PC, all that good stuff. Difficult to see this one just because it's quite blacked out, but there we go. You also get the very fancy ring around your second analog stick as well, which is actually quite nice. It's something that they've obviously, I don't know which company did it first, but it's quite popular nowadays in being done for that. So they have put actually quite a lot of thought into the controller in terms of how it looks and how it functions. Paired it with PC, not tried it with Switch in all honesty, but paired perfectly fine with PC. Actually, another thing, it pairs really well with Raspberry Pi. Straight in, 2.4 gigahertz connection, no problem. And that's what I wanted. You don't have any, you know, setting up a Bluetooth or anything like that, even though I think it might be able to do Bluetooth. See, that's the problem when I've not got the product page in front of me, it's a bit difficult. That means, oh yeah, and you can connect it to Android. but you will need an OTG cable, which is the sort of micro or Type-C USB to Type-A for you to be able to plug this into. Not really as user-friendly, I guess, but once again, if the reason you're buying it is because you want to get away from Bluetooth connectivity, even though Bluetooth connectivity is a lot better nowadays, especially if you use a lot of devices, maybe 2.4 is better. I prefer this sort of thing for my controllers and my, you know, mouse, keyboard, etc., which is what I really liked about the mechanical keyboard. You had both options. This is purely 2.4. Your bumper buttons are fine. Not had them stick on me. I feel as though they could do over time though. I think that's the big part about this. Over time, I don't think it's going to last particularly well. These back buttons are fine. I don't think they would stick there. Actually, probably hold up quite well. I don't know if you can program them actually. That's a big one. The worst part of this is the D-pad. The D-pad is horrendous, and if you listen, you can hear it almost sticking anyway. I know that might seem like a minor thing and probably not something you would expect from a £25 controller, but even expensive controllers struggle with D-pads. So, yeah, unfortunately, that was really the big deal breaker for me, is the D-pad being horrendous. The analog sticks are fine. I've heard some stuff on them about them drifting, but they don't feel as though they are the weak point per se. You can turn the lights on and off. I can't do it at the minute because I'm not connected to anything. You can turn the rumble on and off as well. It does have rumble, which is really good. You do also have textured grips on the back as well. Once again, really actually appreciated, because I quite like that. It does genuinely help. It's a fairly, I've got quite big hands. It's a fairly big controller. It's big enough for me, much bigger than the original 360 controllers. It's based on, I believe, the Xbox One controllers, and yeah, actually not too bad. If you can buy it and you're happy to spend 25 quid thinking this may only last a couple of months because one of my buttons is potentially going to stick, particularly maybe these buttons, they don't feel as though they will do, but they're not particularly nice to press. And this D-pad is, unless you're using it, you know, if you're using it in a game just to select between your weapons, it's fine. But if you want to play any sort of fighters or anything like that, or you want to use it with a Raspberry Pi, which is one of the big reasons I bought it, you do use the D-pad quite a lot. And it's really difficult to use it with this. It's just not enjoyable. You know, played on this, and then I played on the PlayStation 1 Classic and their controller, that controller, and it was far better on the PlayStation 1 controller, which is obviously based off of a very successful controller that utilised just a D-pad. I get that, you know, there's not hiding away from that at all. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all very soon. Bye for now.